mighty dwarf kingdoms, long thought diminished, are resurgent under their high king.
Hello and welcome to another Total War Warhammer guide. Today we are looking at some of the best units of the Dwarf Army and actually some of my favourite models in the Dwarf Army. The Dwarf Bomber, the Gyro Bomber looks absolutely beautiful. So we talked a lot about the infantry and the various different stuff that the Dwarfs have in common, and that is the army is fucking slow as shit, right? The Dwarfs, they got little legs, they go slow. These on the other hand give Dwarfs a massive manoeuvrability, some decent amount of speed, these things flying around the battlefield. So we're going to talk through the different versions, which is the Gyrocopter. You can also equip them with Brimstone guns, and obviously you've got the Gyro Bomber. So first let's have a look at the Gyrocopters and their beautiful flying machines. They are armoured, which as you'd expect, they're good flying machines. They're anti-infantry, they do a good bit of area of effect damage, but they are very not accurate at all, really. They're very poor accuracy. Sometimes it's really annoying. But let's have a look. 100 armour. They come in units of 3, 2,500 hit points, so they're pretty strong. Leadership of 66, which is it's okay. It's not great for dwarfs. 110 speed, which is ridiculous. Melee attack of 30, okay. Defense of 5. I'm not sure. What's the defense? I suppose the spinning blades would help defend them. A weapon strength of 66. 16 of that is armour piercing. Charge bonus of 25. They've got 28 shots. You don't really want to get these in combat, so your main thing is going to be your shootiness, which is the small cannon on the front. 28 shots is decent. It'll last you most of a battle unless you're in range all the time. 70 range, so they're pretty short range, but they're so quick that doesn't really matter because you can get in and out of a battle really well. Missile damage of 68, so we look at the split for that. 12 missile damage, 4 armour piercing, explosive base damage of 37, and a bit of armour piercing in that. A reload time of 9 seconds, which is relatively long. They also have a magic resistance, being dwarf, of 25%, and they also have a special ability, which is not usual for most units. You can see it above their thing there. The 2 is actually how many ammo you've got. I think they've got a bomb on each side. Yeah, on the wings there. I think they're the bombs, aren't they? But they have a special bomb, and it just basically drops. You can't fire it. It has no range, so you basically what you do is you fly over a unit, drop the bomb. It's relatively small strike careful, but it's a really good explosion, and it's really good against like big units of troops to thin those troops out. Really, really versatile unit. We'll talk about how to use these units in battle after we've gone through them. So next up, you've got the Gyrocopter with the Brimstone Weapons. So the big difference between these is these are heavily armor piercing. The normal weapon does a little bit, the Brimstone does a lot, and they're really good against they're anti-large. So anti-large units have advantage against targets that are at least as large as a horse. Okay, so there you go. That sort of sums that up. The rest of the stats are pretty much the same. Obviously, it's the gun that's the difference. So it's got a bit of a longer range, 100, which is not too bad. It does 99 damage as opposed to 68. If you look at the breakdown of that, we see that armor piercing is 74 of that damage. That is huge. It doesn't have that splash damage that the other guns have. This is more of a sort of straight up cannon sort of thing. And they also have the Gyrocopter bombs as before. A couple of those attached to the wings. So next up we're going to look at the Gyro Bomber. So this is the big daddy of the flying machines for the Dwarfs. Oh, it looks so beautiful. It's armoured, it does armour piercing damage with its missiles, and it's anti-infantry. So 100 armour, pretty amazing. Leadership 66 is the same as before. It's a little bit slower than the Gyrocopters. Melee attack of 40, nobody cares about the melee attack. Weapon strength of 84, charge bonus of 30, ammunition 210. This thing's going to fire a lot. A range of 120, so it's the longest range out of the 3 we've looked at. The missile damage is 223. Also 4 missile damage, 16 armor piercing damage. Shots per volley 7. So obviously it's got a lot of ammunition, but that's why it's more of a sort of machine gunny type thing. So you get 7 shots and a reload time of 6.3, so a lot quicker as well. So it's just going to be constantly firing. Really, really nice. It's also got the Dwarf and Magic Resistance. It has the Gyro Bomber bomb, which I think is a little bit different. Is it a little bit different, or does it just have more? Yeah, it's just slightly different. So you get 11 shots. Obviously, you're a bomber, so you're going to carry more. But it's basically doing it the same way as the bomber. You fly over the unit you want to attack, drop your bombs off, big explosion, really good against massed units. Right, so let's just have a bit of fun and get them in combat against some poor little Bretonians. We'll send them in one at a time so we can see them, and we're going to just talk about how they're used in the battle. So obviously the Dwarf Army, as I mentioned before, is just painfully slow. You generally have these big long gun lines with loads of good ranged infantry, and even ranged infantry that are good at close combat fighting as well. All that artillery, they sit there and wait for it. What these are really good at, one thing is scouting. Any unit that's really quick is really good for scouting the enemy, any sort of hidden units and stuff like that. It can skirt around the battlefield forever having a look at those. It can also pick off the odd sort of weak units. Right, we're sending in the Gyrocopters. We'll see them attack now. They've got no... I've given them no range, so that's a bit unfortunate. So there you go. As you can see, doing a decent amount of damage. The morale loss is massive. You know, when you're getting hit by basically flying artillery, the morale loss is exceptional. Not a massive amount of damage. Let's go for a bomb. There we go. Cheeky little fly past. And then we'll send them back. Because we don't want to kill off the troops, we've got to show the other ones. So both the Gyrocopters units can be used for this sort of scouting of the enemy. But what I really like to use them, because one of the worst things with gun lines... hang on, let's just watch these guys. So as you can see, they're more like cannonballs. So they'd be good against those big heavily armoured units, those big troops. The ones you can take down. Obviously, pretty slow reload time. Let's have one last shot. Okay, didn't do fantastically well. Right, now it's time for the daddy. You'll see the fire he's got, almost like a sort of rocket launcher. Oh, look at it, it's more Gatling gunning, isn't it? I do like that. That's very nice. Right, let's bomb them. Just muck about and bomb them. Oh, bombs! I mean, aiming bombs. It's one of very unusual unit for this sort of thing. As you can see, the reload time is very, very quick. You can just keep bombing away, bombing. You can go on a massive bombing run. Imagine doing this over the front line of a unit. Oh, I feel kind of sorry for him. And we can alt tab them in there. Alt fire them to charge them into combat there. They kind of sort of swoop in and just chew people up with those blades. I generally don't use them in close combat. It's kind of a last resort, or you just want to finish breaking a unit. Where are you going, hero? Want to duel? You're picking the wrong dude to duel, mate. You're picking the wrong dude. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting off track. I was just enjoying the animations too much. You can't. Can you drop bombs? What I was going to say, drop bombs while in like a suicide attack. Drop bombs in combat. So I use these to scout, but one of the biggest problems with these gunline armies is that they can get quite easily outmaneuvered, especially by units of like Outriders and Pistoliers that can just swing around, taking pot shots, trying to sneak around your artillery. So these units are really good for sort of hunting those down as well. And like I just showed you with the bomber and the Gyrocopters themselves, those bombs are amazing. And if you can get across there, even at almost like a suicide mission, you know their archers and stuff are going to sort of shoot you down eventually. But if you can get across, strafe across their main line and drop a couple of bombs, or in the bomber's case, 11 bombs, they've paid for themselves, like easily, ridiculously paid for themselves. And also, like any sort of fast-moving unit, they can sneak around the edge of a battlefield. They can then go for the sort of missile infantry, but also the artillery crews and stuff like that. That's really, really useful. Is my hero losing? Oh no, where's the hero gone? Oh, he's run off. He has run off with his troops. There we go. We have won the day, my friends. There you go, there's my use for them. I tend to take... I prefer the standard Gyrocopters. And the only reason for this is because I have other artillery that does the job of the Brimstone. That sort of cannon fire and stuff like that. I've got the sort of organ gun and the cannon and stuff. So I prefer the Brimstone, but they're both very useful. And the bomber is just great to take in those big fights. If you can go along their battle line and just drop 11 bombs, even if you died immediately afterwards, you've still done a ton of damage. And you can send them into combat because they're really good, because they've got such high armour. They're really good at sort of just staying in the fight for a long time. Really, really useful. Stop trying to hit them and just shoot them. there we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the little guide. Please subscribe for the channel for ton more Warhammer content and other gaming goodness. And I'll see you in the next video. Hit that like button. Bye-bye.